Okay, so thank you very much for being in this room. I hope by you being here for 45 minutes that I will give you, or that you won't spend many hours later whenever you need to export your data or whenever you need to print to PDF. I will talk about Apex Office Print, and we basically built this product in 2015, 3 years ago, because of our own frustrations. Like Apex is so nice to build applications really fast, but when it comes down to, oh, I need a PDF, then what do? So who's using XSLFO? I will make it some interactive. So okay, so a few people. Who's using BI Publisher? Okay, a few people. Who's using Jasper Reports? More people. I expected that in Germany. Who is using POPDF? Not that many people. Who's already using AOP? Okay, cool. Who's using Oracle Reports? Okay.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But so what else are you using? You can shout. Did I miss something? Crystal Reports?
JR XML to PDF.
Yeah, that I count that as Jasper as well. So I will talk about Apex Office Print, and the idea is simple. Like, we wanted something that is very easy and as integrated as possible in Apex. We want to make it as easy as building an Apex application, but then to export our data or to print our documents. The idea we had was, okay, how can we make it as integrated as possible? We need two things, actually. We need a PL/SQL API, because we want to code in PL/SQL. And we also need a plugin, because that's the most integrated way in Apex. Then for our templates, how do we want to create the look and feel of our documents? We decided, okay, we will go with Microsoft Office or Open Office. You don't need to use Microsoft Office. You can use Google, but then you export to Office, or you can use LibreOffice, you export to DocX. So we went with DocX, XLSX, PowerPoint, like PPTX. But then later on, we added HTML, we also added Markdown, we added text as templating engines. And the idea is that, or like, my frustration was every time like a logo had to change, or like the business user, they said like, okay, we want this word in red. They contacted us. As a developer, we had to change the reports. We didn't want that. Can you please take care of the template yourself, and we will do the rest? So the goal of this presentation is, when you walk out of this door, that you have enough to try it out yourself. That you can try AOP, that you know what the advantages are, and I hope I can achieve that in just the 40 minutes I have still left. If you have any questions during the session, just shout out, and I'm happy to answer them. So the first thing you have to do is you go to apexofficeprint.com, you click sign up, and like you give your email address, connect@apex.com, something like that. Sign up, and you're in. You don't even need to confirm the email. You already are in. What you do is you go to Downloads, Cloud Package, and it's downloading now. So it's downloading a zip file. So here I have it. What you can do is you double click on it, it unzips, and this is what you have. So what we ship is a sample application. So you see exactly what AOP can do, and it's compatible with Apex 5.0 and 5.1. There are two different sample applications. There's also a DB folder. This is for our PL/SQL API. And this is the package you need. There's also some sample PL/SQL code that you can use. Then we have documentation. And like documentation, I mean, we spent a lot of time on this documentation. So it's very extensive with examples, how to install, even like issues that people might have, like we covered those here. So I think the documentation is really good. You can always go to apexofficeprint.com/docs, and there you find the latest documentation as well. Then we have the plugin folder. We have 4 files, and we have 2 types of plugins, a dynamic action plugin and a process type plugin. And we have them for 5.0 and for 5.1. We have a README, and then we have some sample templates. So that's what you get with the zip file. So the idea I have is you have all your Apex applications. So I will just show you what it takes to create or to embed Apex Office Print into your application. So you make it easy for everybody to print documents. So I will use ptrack, that's a sample application that comes, or a packaged application that comes with Apex. And in here, I created like a print button, but if I click on it, it's not doing anything. So let's say this is your Apex application. You want to enable printing here. So what does it take? Okay, so the first step we do, we import the PL SQL API. So we go to SQL Workshop, SQL Scripts, upload a file, choose file. We go to our downloads folder, where we have the DB folder, and then it's called AOP DB package.sql. Upload this file, run the script for successful. So this is what it takes to create the PL SQL API. When you go to SQL Workshop, you should see now in packages an AOP API 3 package. Okay? So the next thing we do is we import the Apex plugin. And typically, like if you use an Apex plugin, that's the only thing you need. But because the PL SQL API is so big, we couldn't include it in the plugin itself. So that's why we went with an external package. And an external package has also the advantage we can natively compile it goes faster. So you go to Shared Components, Plugins, import the plugin, choose the file. We go to the plugin directory, and we use the Dynamic Action plugin. So there are 2 types. I will explain later which one to use. You take the one for your Apex version, so 5.1 in this case. Next. Next, and install the plugin. Then it will ask me, okay, so where is the AOP server component? And so AOP exists out of 2 things. Like we have the PL SQL API, the Apex plugin is just calling the PL SQL API, but then it's generating some JSON behind the scenes, you don't really see it, and it's sending it somewhere. Just like with BI Publisher, there's like some server component. With AOP, it's the same thing. There's some server somewhere, but it's just one executable. It's very simple, very lightweight. We also have a cloud version, so you went with the cloud package. You can just point to our cloud, and you need to enter an API key, and you will find that on the dashboard. So here, we can take this API key, we enter it here, apply changes, and that's it. You are set up. So now it should be really easy to do something in your application to, for example, whenever they click the print button here, that we get a document back. So let's see how that works. We edit the page. We go to this print button. We create a dynamic action. Let's call it print. And in the action, we have now our plugin, Apex Office Print AOP plugin. So this plugin exists out of a few settings. The first one is the template type. Where is my template? At this stage, we don't have a template. Okay, so we just say, okay, AOP template. Where's my data? And I can have different types. I can define my own SQL statement. Whenever like my SQL statement became too big, more than 4K or 32K, then you can use PL SQL function returning SQL. If that's not enough, you can use returning JSON. You can use a URL if you want to integrate with RDS to generate JSON. Or, and this is where AOP really shines, and which is completely different from any other technology to do your printing, is you can select regions. So AOP understands the classic report, interactive grid, charts. AOP will understand that. The only thing we have to do is region static ID. So let's say in your application, you want to get the information from here and here. The only thing we have to do is specify those static IDs. So I'll check what is the static ID of this region. Okay, it's project. What is the static ID of this region? It's project people. So I will just add it in here. Project and project people. Then we have some special things. We have some init PL/SQL. The nice thing as well is that AOP is fully integrated in Apex and has help included. So on any of those things, you can see what is expected. So the most important thing here is like, what output do we want? I will just generate a Word document, but I can change it later to, for example, a PDF. But as I don't have a template yet, I want to generate a template, a starter template. So I will select Word. Where do I want it to output to the browser? Do I have some elements that I need to put in session state? No, I don't need that for now. So let's just say, okay. So we save it. Now, if I go here, I refresh and I click print. So let me make it a bit smaller. I go to downloads, so we see it. So here's my output. So it generated this. So by only specifying AOP template, it generated, okay, this is the AOP template. And we specify the static IDs of the region. AOP is going to the dictionary and is reading what are you actually having there. So it's saying, okay, those are the tags that you can use in your template for project and for project people. And then it tells you like, okay, whenever you use this project, this is actually the data that we saw. So it gives you some explanation. If you compare this to BI Publisher, for example, what you have to do there is you have to generate some XML, look at the XML, or use a Word plugin, and then upload the XML there. So it's really complex. AOP is not really complex. It's just you generate this AOP template, and it explains what you can do. Like we support Angular expressions if you want to do some conditional compilation in your template, and you can read all this. So the most important thing is we want to create our first template. So let's just delete this. And this is just Word, right? So I can do anything I like. So here I will say, okay, I want to see project, ID I don't need, category, goal, and I can use any feature of Word. So those are no bold, I can make them different later. Here with project people, if I go and look here, this is actually a table that I want to see like this. So I will insert a table here. So I will say, okay, I want to see people here. Insert a table, just maybe 3 columns. I want to see the role, the person, and the involvement. And so those are called tags. So whenever you see this, it means like we start a loop of those records. So if you have more, it will know where it has to loop through. So we add it in the beginning of the table and at the end, and we say, okay, we want the role tag here, the person is going here, and involvement goes here. And we don't need this. Okay, does it make sense so far? Yeah? You're still with me on this? So again, like you're in Word, I can change this table to something nicer. I can make it not bold, but, or this is all bold, not bold. I can make this bold. This, we don't need it to be bold. Maybe project bold and red. Okay, so let's say we are done with this template, we are happy with this. So we save it. And we have to tell AOP now. So here, template type, instead of AOP template, I can say where's my template that I want to use now. So static application files, we upload to shared components. We can upload to workspace files. If we have it in a table, like we want the business user to upload their own template, we store the template in a table, you can say SQL. The same with PL SQL. You might want to put templates on a shared server or a folder somewhere on the server. You can do that. It even works with a URL. Some people, they amaze me. They put a Google Docs URL in here, so their templates are in Google Documents. So you can even do that. So what we will do is we will use static application files. And how did we call it? Let me change this template to template doc. Oh. Sure, okay. So template doc. So we say template doc.docx. Save. And now we have to obviously upload it. Static application files, upload file, choose file, downloads, upload. Now when we try to print again, we have an output and we see here, okay, the tags got replaced by the values and we see here one person. If we go to, let's say this one has 2, this one has 3 persons, we click print, open this, and I see my 3 persons here, okay? So this is what it takes. This is the basic concept of working with AOP. So do you already like this or not?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you're still with me. So sometimes they say, well, Dimitri, it's all nice showing docx. We don't need that. Everybody needs PDF. You're right. And then I say, well, give me a second. Just go here, change output type to PDF. You hit save. Now try again. Print. And okay, here's my PDF. Okay?
Is it possible to dynamically change this output type on
So,
the page?
is it possible to dynamically change the output type on the page? So here you can say define by Apex item, and you specify the item where you define which output you want. Okay? Okay, so the other requirement that people typically have is like, well, yeah, but I need Excel. Okay, Excel. We do the same thing. You start from an AOP template. Instead of output type, you say, okay, I want Excel, save. Okay, try again. We print. We have an output in Excel now. Okay, AOP tries to generate some layout for you based on the things that you have. So we can do the same thing. So we don't need this. Or maybe project, we want that, URL not. Category, goal, we put that here. Goal, we move that here. We are good with this. Don't need this anymore. Okay, copy that here. This is our people. We don't need that. Role, person. So I'm just in Excel, nothing special here. And this is what we do. We can also use the tags here. So you can make it, you can customize this a bit. You can say here, okay, project, category, goal. Maybe for clarity, I want to have it here. Okay, so save this. We upload it again. Static application files, upload file, choose file, output XLSX, upload, go to Apex, and we say the template type is not AOP template, but it's this output XLSX. Static application files, output.xlsx, save, run, okay. Click print again. And here it is. Like, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, easy enough? Most of the times people are now cheering like, whoa, whoa, we need that. Apparently it's different in Germany, but. So I have something else here. So here's a template I prepared. So instead of one project, we want to have multiple projects. And so how do we do that? And there's also like a special thing here, like whenever my status is, this is the color, then I want it to be in red. Otherwise, I want it to be in bold, but then black. So you could upload this as well, or I have another one here, which is doing it for one project, but it's including some charts. So we have a chart here, and AOP can support charts as well. So it actually supports two types of chart, a native office chart, and also like those, for example, jet charts or high charts or any chart, we support all those. Now, how do you let AOP know about those charts? You do the same thing. You include the static ID of this chart. So let's go with, let's first do the chart one. So this is with chart. The way to include a chart is like a $sign, dollar chart. Or if, so dollar means like native chart, and this means like an image. So we will take an image of the chart that you see on the page, and we will include that. So let me upload this template. I actually already uploaded that one. Let me just specify it. Oh, copy. So we go here, we say our template is this. No, I have more static IDs. I need to include the one for the chart. So I think that was called chat chart, yeah. And the other one, the native chart. So whenever you need to add data to your document, but you don't want the data on the screen, for example, what you can do is you can create some classic reports and make them hidden. Like you put them conditional never. So I did that as well for this native chart, because the way AOP support charts, you can have settings there, how big they are, you can do certain things with it, and it requests a certain SQL statement. But this doesn't make sense for your Apex application in general, but it makes sense for your chart. So you just add it in a classic report and you say condition never. So that's what happens here, condition set to never. So if I include both those regions here, so it's chart and jet chart, save. I click print now. Okay, here it says like invalid output type XLSX. So we try to go from docx to XL. That doesn't work. We tried, but it seems it's not working. So let's try again with output as docx. So here's our output. And here's our chart. And this is our jet chart. So what is cool about this native chart, again, you're in Word. So if you don't like this look and feel, you can just click. And this is native chart, right? And we go even further. You can select this. You can go here. You can say, I want for this series, I want a line. Okay, so Germany likes this apparently.
That's great! Yeah, I need this tool.
Yeah, and if you don't like the colors, you could even change that. Like, okay, so I think I showed enough of the basics. Let's move to the sample application. Does anybody has a question so far? Okay.
What about geodata?
What about geodata?
Yeah.
What about geodata? Maps. Okay, so the question is what about geodata? And let's say you have a map in your Apex application. We would do the same as with the jet chart. So whenever we don't understand that region, we take a screenshot of it and we include that into your template. So with a map, it would be the same thing. So it would be a screenshot of that. We don't support a native geodata thing in AOP yet, but maybe you could always log that as an enhancement request, and we really listen to the community, and like in our next version, we could look at to do something with maps. Okay.
You also post that your application takes a screenshot of the region.
Sorry?
If it is understand your region, because it's a classic report, for example. Can you post that it only takes a screenshot? Put it into a PDF.
So can you enforce that it takes a screenshot of a classic report or interactive report or the ones that you understand?
Yeah.
So we don't have an option to say like include a screenshot. If we understand the type, then we will use that. So in case of classic report, we will read it out and we will read the metadata. We will parse the SQL statement that's behind the scenes. For interactive report, I didn't show the nicest piece of AOP yet. So there, I will do that next. So if there's a request, so you're the first one who asked for that. If you need that, we are happy to include it. It's very easy for us to do. So let me move to the sample application here. And so this is our sample application for 5.1. Here it gives you some information why AOP is so nice. Then here with start, it walks you over the things to get started, like all the things that I showed, like import the AOP plugin, how do you use it? This is an example with a SQL statement, what the tags are meaning and how to work with those and what the result is. So this is an example in Excel, and this is the output in Excel. So for example, images are also supported. Then the tour here, it tells you what the architecture is. So there's an AOP server component, the PL/SQL API, there's also a REST API and an Apex plugin. That will, behind the scene, it will generate some JSON and it will send that across AOP servers doing the merge and then sending back the document that you requested. Here it walks you over like the different types of implementation, the PL/SQL API. But the nicest piece with this sample application are the examples. Look at how many examples we did. So over the last 3 years, anytime like we got a request, oh, can AOP do this? Like we try to include it in our sample application. So one of the nicest things that I didn't show yet is the integration with interactive reports. So everybody wants like, okay, I have an interactive report and I want to print it to PDF or to Excel. So let's go to that. So here's my interactive report. I have some images here. Okay, I say click print to Word. And here's my interactive report. So we don't really need to take a screenshot because we go a lot further than that. This is not a screenshot. This is we generate a table behind the scenes with real data. We take the image there. If you decide, well, I don't want the image, you go to Word. You don't have the image. If you're going to say, well, I want to group by, let's say order, I only have one order, but you get the ID. So AOP understands what you're doing behind the scenes. And like we went all the way, right? if we want to do something, we want to do it right. So here, for example, highlight and break. So we have a break, we have a highlight here. We do have the images. We can go to Word again. And when I do Word, I can do PDF as well. Like you saw, just changing the output type. So here's a break and highlighting. Here's also a highlighting. No, people say, okay, I want it in Excel. This is the same thing. So in Excel, we do this as well. We use the cells, so it's real data in the cells. And what does it take? So you can, as this is a sample application, you can just go behind the scenes, look what it takes. And let me go to the Word one. So here, we use AOP interactive docx, and I'll open this one. So this is our template. The only thing you have to remember is ampersand interactive. You can do _1, _2. For interactive grid, it's the same thing, but we use a static ID there. Ampersand, static ID, ampersand. So whenever we see this tag, we replace it with the interactive report as the person sees it on the screen. And here, so you don't even need to say, you just specify the static ID of your interactive report. So that's it. Like people, sometimes they also have pivots or like group bys. Even those views you can do. So this is in Excel. Or if I do the pivot. Okay, so all the way. Okay, any question on interactive report?
Yes, so there's a possibility to send reports per email, for example, interactive reports based on schedule.
So question is, can you schedule this report and send it out by email? The answer is yes. Or actually, let me just go here. So what you have to do, and I didn't come to that yet, is here, output 2. So I will come back to the schedule in a minute. So here we output to the browser. That means AOP will serve the file to the browser. If we say procedure, then we can specify a procedure, and it's this definition that you, oh, it's a bit far. This definition, so we generate a file, and you can call a procedure, which, for example, emails it out or stores it in a table, so you can do that. As long as it has this definition, it's good. You can also do procedure and browser. You can do inline, I will show that in a minute, or you can go to a directory on the server. So no, let's go to the scheduling piece. So here, when you do send HTML email or send print by HTML, so this is with the buttons, but so the way you would do it is DBMS scheduler, and you would call our PL/SQL API, and in the PL/SQL API, you would say, you can say this application, this page, and this is the interactive report I want to send. And we go even further than that. We allow you to say this interactive report, the static ID, and then pipe and the saved report name. So you can even say like this specific report. And if you, like, it was really hard to implement because you need an APIX session. So behind the scenes, we even created an APIX session because we're just like, it's running at night, there's no person there. So we create a session and we do the things that you want to do. So in the PL/SQL API, you can even specify that. So let me quickly show you. AOP DB package. Oh. Can I zoom in a bit? So here, data type. So anything I showed in the APIX plugin, it's just doing a call to this PL/SQL API. So anything you can do in the plugin, you can do with PL/SQL as well. So the data type, you would say, instead of SQL, Apex. Here, data source, you would specify the IR1, for example, the template type you have, and here you specify this application ID, this page, this user, if you want to do for a specific user, maybe. Okay. Any other question? No? Did I lose you? Yes.
There are several regions next to each other. Will the report print one after the other, or just it's like on the screen?
So if regions are next to each other on the screen, how do you have them in the report? It depends how you do it in your template. So in Word, you can do any, or are you talking specifically for Word or for Excel or
PDF.
PDF? So typically for PDF, you would start with a template in Word. And in Word, you can easily do something like, so you would it be interactive report or would it be something else, like your own table, your own data?
Would be something like interactive report and charts mixed.
Yes. So here you would say interactive. Let's say we have two interactive reports here. So you can do this, but if you want them next to each other, it's better probably to say, okay, I'm going to quickly create a table, put this here, and my chart goes here. Dollar chart. Oh, like this, and then you can hide the lines of this table, obviously. But so you would do anything in Word, and you can use all the features of Word. We have an example here. When you go to examples, there's a dashboard, charts with reports. So this is an interactive report here. We have multiple charts, and we have some special regions. So here we do print dashboard. Let me open this. Downloads. So here's our interactive report. It had the highlights. Here is our customer report. And here are our charts, which we put next to each other. And here's the special one. So maybe for the question, like, this is a screenshot of a classic report, which we took. So you can actually do it because we are doing it here. If you put percent in front of the tag, then it will do the screenshot. So that's an example of a dashboard. And in the examples, there are many more. So here, this section is on reports, like classic reports with totals. We use some Angular analytical functions to show some totals. Excel sheet generation. Like a big customer, actually in Germany, they wanted to dump their entire database in Excel. So, well, I said, well, yeah, cool, but it wasn't even enough. They wanted to generate sheets all the way. So even that is supported. You can generate your sheets, and this example walks you through that. So if I quickly click here. So here the sheets are generated based on the name of that customer, and that customer has the orders in the sheet. So you can just, again, you can go here, you can look at the template, how things are done, and in this case, the data source is SQL, and if you're not familiar with this syntax, like that's, if you start with AOP and you want to go the SQL step, this is maybe the most advanced thing that you have to learn. You have to get your head around like how we get the data there. So we use a cursor syntax that allows us to have blocks. So you can have a cursor, another cursor there, another cursor with different select statements, or you can nest them. So you can have a hierarchy of your data with this cursor syntax. If I go back here, some other nice features. So here, okay, interactive grid is the same thing. More examples with reports you can find here. But let me show you a more real-life use case. So as a developer, I told you, one of the frustrations is that they always call us and they just want to change something in the template, and why do we need to do that? So you could build something in your application where you say, okay, download the template is here, and change it, change whatever you want, person, and let's say make this red. We save this, you go back here, you upload your template, and now you can print it. So it's red. If I change this template to DOAC, and I want to make this like marked, I don't like this logo, save this, upload it again. Oh, sorry. So upload. So as a business user, I can just change the template on the fly, and there you go. So this is a use case of implementation. On the second section, we have the features. So I showed the starter template, I showed native office chart, jet charts. Here's something else, like people, they use height charts, or like they generate something with D3.js, or in this case, Fabric.js. Even that can be screenshotted. So, so we take a screenshot of this and we include it in the template. Images, I think I showed that, QR code. Another nice feature is we support rich text editor. So you can just allow people to define their template in HTML or have anything here. When you go to PDF or you go to Word, what we do is we interpret this HTML and we convert it to native Word styling. So we spend a lot of time on getting this right. We have another example here. I think this one. So here is going to the extreme. So HTML, everything, they want everything dynamic. They even want to include interactive report here. They want to use some other tags, including a chart. So they basically, in Word, they have some tag with the rich text editor, but it's dynamic. And we do a preview of this. And we show an inline PDF of the interactive report. There are some QR codes, the jet chart, etc. This is a feature that was asked for a lot, like how can we have an inline PDF, like a pop-up with a PDF? Like we show it in this sample application. You can just go to the page and see how we do it. The same here, print inline, it will print inline here. And this is regardless of AOP. You don't need AOP for that. Even if you want to use another solution, you can still look here how we do certain things. Other things like print directly to a local printer, print directly to an IP printer. We support that. The scheduled printing, like Marriott Hotels, they print all the invoices every night in batch. Even that works. If you want to have a zip file at the end, you can do that too. So I would recommend have a look at the sample application and then see if you find what you need. If you don't find it, please let me know. Like one of the, like nobody knows this, but like we are working on AOP 4.0, and one of the things that people requested was, okay, we want to include another document before or after and after the document that you merge. So that was one of the requirements. We already implement this in AOP 4.0, which is scheduled for the summer sometime. So, any question? Yeah.
Is it possible to use PDF templates?
Is it possible to use PDF templates? Not at this stage. So you would use a Word template and then output to PDF.
In the active report, if you go to actions and download them, you can choose Excel or PDF. Can you use the same function to print your PDF? Because you've always been buttons.
Yes, so the question is, if you go to interactive report, I guess you mean actions download. So actually there are some customers, so the plugin is not doing it for you. You would need to put a little bit of JavaScript on your page, and that would do it. Actually, Daniel Hoscheider, Mr. Plugin, he will do a blog post about it because he did it for a customer of his. So some customers have done this. It's definitely possible. When you click on this, you get AOP. Yeah. Yes.
Can I include something like sub-templates where I set my headers and footers, which I include in every other template for different letters or something like that, so that I do not have to change the address of my company or the CEO or something like that in 50 or 100 templates.
Yeah, so can you create sub-templates in your templates? We are looking into that. So far, I don't believe we have an example in our sample application. Either you can go the dynamic route and like have the different blocks where you concatenate the values from your database, so you make it dynamic that way. If you really want to do a template in another template, I think that's your question. Word inside Word, we have been looking at that. I don't know how far we are with that for AOP 4.0, but it's definitely something that has to come back a few times, so it's on our schedule. Yeah, okay.
Excel only works on Excel templates, so you can have the same template for PDF and Excel.
So Excel template doesn't
make sense there,
only, so Excel only works for Excel, yes, but you can also go from Excel to PDF, for example, or from Excel to HTML. So
it's not Excel.
Not PDF to Excel, that doesn't work. Yeah. Other question?
Are there some limitations regarding amount of data? So, for example, we have a 300 pages report, and it's pretty much data there.
So, are there some limitations around the data? Yes and no. So, like I told you, that one customer in Germany was dumping their entire database in Excel. Just for those, we had to do, whenever you go to downloads, I actually didn't tell you, but there's a high memory version. So the first version that goes, we burst our print engine to 4 GB RAM. So whenever it fits in that, then it's fine. And in like 90% of the cases, everybody is happy with that. But in some cases, like an extreme, like the guy who wants to do like the entire database done, go with this higher memory version and then it should work. AOP itself is also load balanced. We optimized it a lot. We actually rewrote it a few times already to have the maximum performance. So today I'm confident to say it will definitely work for you. And if it takes too long, sometimes it takes too long. For example, let's say it takes 2 minutes to generate. You might have a proxy which is timing out. So in that case, what you do is you schedule the report. So the database is doing the call, and then it just comes back in the database in a table or something. Or you increase the timeout of your proxy. That's the only thing where people sometimes have issues with. Other question?
Can you dynamically handle the page rotation depending on the data?
So can you dynamically change landscape portrait depending the data? Not that I'm aware of. I would need to ask Sunil, one of our core developers. At this stage, what you could do is in your template, you can do a condition, and you can say like, if my data is this, then use this page. If my data is something else, use this page. I would do it that way.
So the server is at your place. You were introducing this as a cloud version. Is there an alternative to that?
No, so sorry, I didn't say that. We have the cloud version, but we also have on-premise.
Oh.
So you can just take the executable, run it inside your own
server, whatever.
Server, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's important.
So yeah, definitely.
Which hardware?
Excuse me.
On which hardware does it run?
Sorry.
So on which hardware does it run?
Oh, which hardware? So
Windows.
yeah, so we have 3 packages: Linux, Windows, and OS X. So it will work with any of those.
And now the most important question.
The pricing?
Yeah.
Well, compared to BI Publisher, it's really it's really cheap. I think we are very reasonable. So cloud pricing is this, but I guess most people, they want on-premise pricing. So we start with 1500, and it depends the template type. So in 1500, you always get PDF output, but if you just want Word as a template engine, this is the bronze one that you want. If you want Word and Excel, it's this one. If you want Gold, it's that one for the very big customers. So it's tied to a MAC address. If for some reason you want to separate, for example, development and test, and then have another one for acceptance and production, you can have two. So you can just buy 2 Gold, or like the bigger companies, they go with Enterprise. And we are doing some higher optimizations there, even also with Docker images and etc. So, but I think, well, is it? What do you think about the price?
This is like a one-time price, and then you get lifetime support.
So the pricing is, you pay this, no, so you pay it once, and then you have the option to pay 20% of this price for support from starting the second year onwards. If you say, well, we don't need support, we always stick on this Apex version, you can use it forever, the version that you have. Okay, I think we are out of time. Thank you so much for